Hi all, and welcome to this week's racing-based preview of Cox Plate weekend. We've got some great racing at Moonee Valley coming up Friday night with the Manikato Stakes and on Saturday with the Cox Plate. I'm keen to get straight into these. So I'm joined by Rick Chapman as usual. Rick, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Ready for a fantastic weekend of racing. Had a good weekend last week on the punt, and how could you not? It was fantastic. Well done to you for tipping Jamaica. But yeah, can't wait for this week.
Yeah, likewise, Rick. Okay, well, let's get straight into these. Moonee Valley on Friday night. The Manikato. Can Chautauqua bounce back?
Oh, looks a good thing. I am the world's biggest capitalist fan, and I love him with the weight relief, and I think he'll run a very good second, but Chautauqua is champion. We know that. I thought his run first up was outstanding. He was weighted out of that race, and the way it was run worked out exactly how I thought it would in my head, and Extreme Choice won the race. I think Capitalist is probably every bit as good as Extreme Choice, but the weight difference isn't the same this time, and Chautauqua was probably about 3 lengths better horse second up. So the pace will be on, which will string the field out. So the inside draw shouldn't be a great worry for Chat. I think he'll just sit back about 7th or 8th on the fence and then come off Moonee Valley's from about the 500. It's a bit like a velodrome. So if you get wide and then slingshot off it, you can really fly home, which he'll do. And he wins comfortably from Capitalist and Holler.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a cracking Manikato to me, Rick. There's some good sprinters in there, but it's just not a vintage edition, that's for sure. Other than Chautauqua was the standout. Second up, he'll improve. The extra 200 metres suits. I think he does look special on Friday night, and definitely more so than his first up run. I can't see anything being Chautauqua. If the quarterback had drawn slightly better, Rick, I might have had him in there and been tossing up between the two. But yeah, Chautauqua was a clear standout in that race.
Yeah, I'd have to slightly disagree with you. I think it's actually a brilliant field. There's 11 runners, 10 Group 1 winners, and the other one, Fell Swoop, was Group 1 place. So I think it's a cracking field. You've got the best sprinter in the world in it. You've got Buffering, who's won in 2 or 3 different countries and nearly $8 million in prize money. You've got the Golden Slipper winner. You've got a Golden Slipper runner-up. You've got an international traveller in Holler. I think it's a great field. And he just stamps himself again as the world's best sprinter. But, gee, I think Holler, who always goes well fresh, and Capitalist will be right in it too. But can't wait to get odds against Chautauqua. Maybe we even get $3. That'd be nice.
Yeah, well, you do make some great points there, Rick, and maybe I'm a bit harsh. Maybe I was expecting a couple of others to be in there and just bolster the field a bit. But you're right. There's some quality there. Group 1 winners galore. So it'll be a great race to watch on Friday night, and I'll be cheering home Chat.
I hope they break the track record.
Well, that'll be good. And then obviously the rail's in the true position. It'll remain in the true for Saturday's Cox Plate meeting. So let's get into that one, Rick. I'm keen to digest this one and give everyone my thoughts. So how do you see the Cox Plate mapping, Rick? I think this is the most important part, the mapping.
Well, that's such a good lead-in because we've all got our views on who wins. But the way the race will be run is the key to it. And in a Bruce McAvaney interview the other day with James McDonald, it was almost like a throwaway question Bruce asked. And to me, it was the most significant question in regards to the Cox Plate. He simply asked J-Mac, where do you hope to be coming to the bend? And after pondering, James McDonald said, well, I can't win. Nobody can win coming from behind Winks. She's just too good. So I'm going to have to be in front of her coming to the bend. All right, with that premise, that means, and we saw Winks take off at the 550 mark last year, that means that last 600 is going to be flat Chat. So Hartner will be off the bit. So far, we've seen him win 3 races in a row by 100 yards each because he just sat and controlled the speed off moderate tempos and just outkicked them. He won't have that luxury this time if he, in fact, wants to be in front of Winks coming to the bend, because that pace is going to be unbelievable for the last 600. He'll be off the bit and deep, and Winks will be just working away between runners, probably second or third by the time they straighten. It's a whole new world of pain for Hartnell, and I love him. I love him. I think he's a superstar when things go right, but he won't get a chance for things to go right because this mare, as we saw last year on the Cox Plate, and as we saw most vividly presented to us in Doncaster Handicap when she carried 6 kilos more than everything else, including Happy Clapper and horses like this, gave them all a head start being second last on the bend, weaved through runners off a 133 pace and just blew by them. And she wasn't well with a bad knee. So my point is, fast sectionals during the run don't hurt her, but they will hurt ordinary horses. They're all good horses. Will hurt the other horses. They won't hurt Winks. She'll, in fact, respond to the challenge. I think she wins easily. I was happy to hear James McDonald say that he's going to endeavour to be in front of her coming to the bend. That will, because of the pace, he'll really start to weaken over the last 100 Hartnell. He'll look second for a while, but Yankee Rose will be flashing home and she'll probably run second because her sectional times in that Randwick race the other day with 56.5 kilos or whatever she carried was as good as any horse in this race, and she's only got 47 this time. So if Dean Yendall can sit back and smoke his pipe, then she should rattle home. But Winks, for mine, wins by 2 or 3, probably 4, from Yankee Rose, Hartnell, and a gap to the others.
Yeah, well assessed, Rick. And that's sort of, hearing those thoughts from J-Mac, that's the way I see it mapping as well, Rick. There's no pace in this race at all. There is no clear leader. I've got Blackheart Bart leading this field. From where Hartnell is, with the lack of pace, I think he'll be sitting outside Blackheart Bart. I don't see much other option for him. Like you said, if he's going to go further back, he's going to potentially be behind Winks. Well, he will, because she's got pace to sit right up there. I went back and watched last year's Cox Plate, Rick, as well, and it was interesting to note, which I hadn't picked up on before, Winks settled in 6th position. She was behind the Cleaner, A-Rod, and Highland Real, who are all speed machines and like to go forward. There's no horse with anywhere near that kind of speed this year. So without those 3, the only other ones in front of her were Complacent and Hartnell sat on her outside. So if you take those first 3 out, Winks nearly led last year, or would have sat second. So I can see her sitting right behind Blackheart Bart, who's going to lead this year. And, if she's sitting behind the leader, you can't see any horse in that field coming from behind her except Yankee Rose. That lightweight could make all the difference. And she's trending the right way. She's peaking Yankee Rose. So if there's a chink in Winks' armour, and I don't think there is, but that lightweight and a soft run has me worried. I think if Blackheart Bart leaves the rail, Winks goes up the rail and looks a good thing. But if he stays along the rail and Winks has got to sort of try and bump another horse out of the way to get past around Blackheart Bart and Hartnell, Yankee Rose just needs a little bit of luck to get a split behind him. And with that lightweight, she's got the acceleration to get past him and cause an upset here. So the way I'll be playing, Rick, I will be backing Yankee Rose each way, and I'll be having a saver on Winks. I think that's the way to play. So if Winks wins, I don't lose. But if Yankee Rose wins, I clean up. So that's the way I'll be playing it. I think Blackheart Bart can run a big race as well, Rick. I think his only chance is if he leads and he winds up, Darren Weir has that high altitude training simulator at his property. So when Darren wants to switch him on, he can just switch him on and just, get extra lengths out of him. So, and that high altitude training is proven to have some, significant impact on horses being able to sustain long runs. But I think the Canadian research was like 19 seconds longer than the average horse. So if Blackheart Bart winds up early, kicks 4 or 5 lengths in front of him, he might be able to sustain that run and run a big race. So, yeah, I definitely like Blackheart Bart, Winks, Yankee Rose, but I've got Yankee Rose on top.
Very brave tip. I think the interesting X factor is the French horse Vadamos. He generally runs up near the pace, so that could ensure a bit of pace in it early. Horaki's in such great form. He can sit back off a pace or be midfield, and he really can accelerate too. It's a great Cox Plate, and I love the fact there's only 10 runners in it, but no matter which way you cut it, because she's drawn so well and in such devastating form and is so versatile in terms of being able to run with speed and still kick, or sit off a slow pace and still kick, I think she wins easily. And if they're going to post this $2.70, well, mind you, 2 weeks before the Golden Slipper this year, she was 8-1, and my son and I just backed her and kept backing her and backing her. So our pocket suggests we want her to win too, but from a form analyst's point of view, or analyst's point of view, I think she wins easily.
Yeah, and to be honest, I want her to win as well, Rick. She's great for racing, and it's these big winning streaks that draw more people to the races, and it keeps everyone excited. But on doing the form, I think she is vulnerable. I think Yankee Rose just is a danger. So and on Haraki, his last run was a cracker, but I'm just worried that slowish pace up front, if it is slow early, and it looks that way, might make it harder for him to get into the race if he settles back. And they had the option of taking a barrier there. They took a wide gate, so we know he's going back, Haraki. I think it's going to be hard to make ground.
Yeah, I love Yankee Rose. I said in my comments that I think because of the pace over the last 600 that she'll be really getting home with Haraki, and Hartnell will be, stretching that high head carry of his right out as far as he can just to stay with Winks. But she's proven every time she's raced, Hartnell, that she can beat him easily. She beat him by 11 lengths in this race last year. And a month ago, beat him by 3.5 lengths with a head on the chest. So he's going to have to really improve dramatically to turn the tables on her, and I don't think she's even tried yet. So great race. Be nice to see what the double is, Chautauqua into Winks. It's got to be, you'd think, about $9, surely. But I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but I'd like to take it.
Yeah, well, that might be a good one for people to take. And just on Hartnell as well, Rick, that win in the Turnbull Stakes, that rated as the highest Turnbull Stakes since the track was resurfaced in 2005. So it was marginally above Preferment's time last year, and Hartnell finished 1.4 lengths off of him in that race. So, and then as you said, he went to the Cox Plate next start, was 11 lengths behind Winks. So even though he looked so impressive last start, probably had an extra couple of lengths up his sleeve, I think he's still got to improve by 6 if Winks brings her last year's Cox Plate form. So can Hartnell improve by 6 and get near her? I don't think so.
It's funny because you're 100% right in the fact there's no genuine pace in the race. So my view is that if James McDonald had decided to sit off no pace in about 4th or 5th spot and then make it a sprint home the last 350, 400 metres, I'd be all over Hartnell. But he said he's not going to do that. He said he's going to take off at the 600 to make sure he's in front of her coming to the bend. Well, that just tells you that the last 600 is going to be diabolically fast, and I just don't know whether he can sustain that speed for 600, whereas we know she can. So it's funny. It's the way the race will be run over the last half of the race that is the telling factor, I think, this year.
Yeah, and another point I just want to raise quickly, Rick, is when I chipped Yankee Rose, a lot of people are saying, Surround's the only filly to do it, and that's true. But one thing I've noticed is you get these fillies that get into the Cox Plate, they get such a light weight, you have limited opportunities for which jockey you're going to put on. Now, I've seen some fillies butchered in this race. I remember watching Miss Finland with the Kiwi jockey on there years ago, and she was slaughtered terribly. We got Dean Yendall on Yankee Rose this year, and Dean Yendall is the best lightweight rider in the country. He got up his first Group 1, last start on Yankee Rose, and I'm really glad to see, when you've got a lightweight jockey, Dean Yendall will make all the difference. He's no slouch.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, but I have to run a rule between, say, Happy Clapper and Yankee Rose. Now, if Happy Clapper was in a 2,000-metre race against Yankee Rose and only had 1 kilo more, would you pick Happy Clapper?
No.
If he had 59 and Yankee Rose had 58, you'd still pick Yankee Rose to beat him.
Over this trip, yeah, I would. Yeah.
Wow, he finished 3rd in the Queen Elizabeth last start.
Yeah, I know, but I think he's a better 1,600-meter horse. I'm just not convinced he's a 2,000-meter horse, where Yankee Rose obviously is.
Well, see, that's based off both of them only having one start over 2,000 metres. But see, to answer my equation, if Happy Clapper had 59 kilos and Yankee Rose had 58 kilos in a 2,000 metre race, I'd be on Happy Clapper all day because of the weights. Now, Winks gave Happy Clapper 6.5 kilos in the 1 mile, which you've just pointed out is his better distance, Doncaster, and went straight past him. So on that weights and measures, she should be able to give Yankee Rose at least 9 or 10 kilos and beat her. And she's giving her 9 kilos here, and Yankee Rose is going to have to come from behind her. So as much as I love the filly, I just can't see her getting anywhere near Winks' finish.
Yeah, it is a tough one, Rick. It's going to be a great race. So, look, I wouldn't be disappointed to see Winks win. Obviously, like I said, my pocket will be a lot wider if Yankee Rose gets up. But, yeah, look, I think there are a couple of great chances, Rick. As I said, Blackheart Bart, I've got him in the mix as well. So I'll have my multiple story up on bettingpro.com.au later, and we'll see how we go.
I tell you, the Group 2 race just before it, the Crystal Mile, it's a beauty too. For those wanting to back the United States in the Melbourne Cup, you might have to reassess because he's going around the mile race. So I'm not sure he's going to be quite ready for the Cup. But I just wonder if the Hickmott stable, the Williams stable, rates Galante as their Melbourne Cup horse this year. Because I think he's in really well too. But gee, what a cracking meeting at Moonee Valley! What a beauty!
Yeah, it's a great meeting, Rick, and plenty of chances to get some big winners. Let's just hope we found the Cox Plate winner. So obviously, Winks for you, Rick, and Yankee Rose for me.
I hope they give us another $3 or $4 Winks to win by 2 lengths or more. I'll be all over that this time.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was on. I took that by 2 lengths last time she won, and that exact margin was 2 lengths. So was good to see that. That was a great offer from Sportsbet. And then last week they offered a length for Jamaica, so I took some of that at 5 as well, which was great.
Yeah, that sort of is very interesting betting, and I like it. It's kind of like the spread in football now, isn't it? So I like that. But gee whiz, that race against Blackheart Bart, she only got that 2 lengths right on the peg. I think 20 metres from the line, she was still only a length and a half in front.
Well, I think that's why Sportsbet offered that too, Rick, is they thought as soon as Hugh got past Blackheart Bart, he would ease her up and just go soft the line, which he did towards the line, but she was still good enough to put a 2-length margin on him.
She'd gone through, I've watched that race several times, and I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but he deliberately drifted wide to take her wide around the bend, Rawilla, last start. If Huey had just sat, and I know we're all armchair jockeys, and had gone on the inside of Blackheart Bart rather as they straighten, I think he wins by 3 with it, even easier than he did, but on Winks. But you have to look. He starts to drift coming to the 600, Blackheart Bart, and he gets 4 or 5 off the rails, which means she had to be 6 wide around the bend, and she still just went straight past him like he was tied to the fence. But anyway, be that as it may. Can't wait.
All right, well, that's it, mate. That's this week's preview done and dusted. As I said, Winks for you, Yankee Rose for me. I hope everyone finds a winner on the weekend. Gamble responsibly, everyone, and enjoy a great Cox Plate.
Yeah, and terrific sport card too. I think brilliant racing in Melbourne and in Sydney as well, but mainly Melbourne. Good luck to you all.